still doing great. We got another comic, you guys ready for your next comic? Not only is he the only Puerto Rican comic in Charlotte, he's my favorite Puerto Rican comic in Charlotte. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Ola!
Hey everybody. I haven't done comedy in like over a month or so it feels good to be back. I had to stop drinking because I get into some serious trouble when I drink. Last time I went to a bar, this old lady was hitting on me. And I know she was hitting on me because she said, "Oh my God, you look like a young Derek Jeter." And it's fucked up because I'm from New York and I like the Yankees. And I had to think about it because I'm not someone who is into old ladies. I'm like older women, like 40, 45, the MILF age, you know? And I thought about it, I said, you know, for the Social Security checks and the AARP discount, yeah, I'll take the oatmeal. I told that joke to this one guy, a drunk guy, and I got to the Derek Jeter part, and he goes, "No, a fat Derek Jeter." And he got in his car, you know, all walking all, you know, sloppy, and I said, "Hey, I hope you crash your car, bitch." Some of y'all might remember I recently hosted my very own open mic. It got canceled after one show. And I purposely hosted that mic a block away from my parents' house because they don't see my comedy. And I said, "Hey, I had this near your place, block away, come on out and see my show." And they said, "Oh, that's really great. We still don't want to see your comedy." Now, I'm not one to point fingers at whose fault it was that it got canceled. So I'll where you at. So yeah, it got canceled and somebody complained to me about it. They said, "We have children here tonight. How dare you?" And I said, "Well, you brought your kids to a sports bar so you can drink in front of your kids and set a bad example. How dare you? There's a McDonald's right next door. At least when you buy your kids dinner at McDonald's, they get a toy with their meal. But here they get daddy issues." I recently got into a car accident. I'm okay, but my bank account fried a little bit. And I was with my little brother and I was telling him, you know, when you graduate high school, maybe you should take up a trade, become a mechanic, help out the family. And he says, "No, you have nephews who can do that." I said, "Why? Because they're half Mexican?" Speaking of Mexicans, I started watching Better Call Saul. And I got to this episode where the female lawyer says, "Hey, give me $1 and I'll be your lawyer temporarily." And it got me thinking, lawyers are kind of like prostitutes when you think about it, because they have a certain rate that they charge, but they might take less money for their services. And both professions, it's their job to get you off. And whether your prostitute sucks or your lawyer sucks, you're fucked either way. So I started going out to clubs and bars this past summer, trying to get out there. And I learned a very important lesson I'm going to teach everybody tonight. You have to scope out these clubs before you go. Because I went to this place called Pinhouse Mechanical, and I was wearing this denim button down, and this guy walks up to me with an empty glass, and I was like, you know, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Oh, I thought you worked here. You have the same shirt. Is everyone else working here?" And Pinhouse Mechanical was on the rooftop, so I took the button off and just threw it off the fucking roof. A friend of mine told me I look like a nerd who gets laid, and it's pretty much true. I'm actually a big nerd. Back in high school, I was the guy who would have been stuffed in lockers so I could fit in the lockers. And one of my favorite fandoms, if you call it, is Star Wars. You got any Star Wars fans here? I think Star Wars is racist to Hispanics because we're barely in the movies. There's one who's a senator, and it's not out of respect. Hispanics like to talk. We do not shut up. And you're never going to see a Mexican Jedi. Jedis have to be celibate. And even for Puerto Ricans in general, we're not going to be Jedis. Hispanic men, we don't volunteer. We want to get paid for our services. It's like, "Anthony, use the Force. You going to pay me?" Speaking of, you know, Star Wars and a nerd getting laid, I like to use Star Wars metaphors in bed. So if I try anal on the Phantom Menace, and if I give her a facial, it's Attack of the Clones. So as a nerd, I've been thinking about superheroes and superpowers. Y'all been watching the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus, right? Any Marvel fans here? And it got me thinking of what are some really dumb superpowers like invisibility. Because if you don't know, you have to be naked for invisibility to work. But then I thought about how I would have fun with that power. And I thought of a couple of things. I would probably push old people to the ground and see if they actually have life alert. Because I want to know, are they going to say, help, I fell and I can't get up? And then another thing I'd probably do with invisibility is, well, rather, I don't think I need invisibility to not be noticed by anybody, really. So it's a dumb power, I'm sorry. Disney Plus recently got into some controversy. They had added the Deadpool movies on the services. And if you don't know, the first one has a strip club scene. There is nothing more magical than seeing titties on Disney Plus.
Yes, sir.
And if you got kids running in, just turn on Finding Nemo or something and you're good to go, you're covered. I had a roommate who almost got carjacked recently. I say almost because the car thief couldn't drive stick. So he just hopped out and ran. I had another roommate who, he was very weird. He would like walk out, see if I was in the kitchen, and then turn around and walk back into his room. And I was like, bro, I'm not gonna bite, and even if I would, I don't want Chinese food right now. That's all I got. Thank you, everybody. You guys have been great.